Hey, it's
Hey,
three pagans on tap,
where
but there seems to be a pagan missing.
where's our resident prayer sayer guy?
I think he was super late getting here.
Hey guys,
Good.
how y'all doing?
Doing just fine.
Alec and I have been hanging out for like an hour.
I know.
Somebody had to do, like TikTok videos or something.
Well, I thought I had enough time to do the TikTok videos plus this mixer, and I didn't realize how much problem the mixer would be giving me. So that's my lesson.
There you go.
Oh, you get to learn new stuff every time we do one of these.
Oh my god. So they're scrambling to get on.
We're now going to throw the prayer to you. So go ahead.
Right. Holy ones, thank you for this gathering. Thank you for camaraderie. Thank you, Loki, for helping me to keep myself humble, for poking fun at me, especially when I need it, and for helping me to appreciate the hard times and the good in equal measure. Thank you for friends who will ride your ass. And thank you for friends who will be there no matter what. Hail to you, Loki. Let's Heil.
Oh,
indeed. Now I have to go grab my actual drinks for the evening.
The green screen doesn't work great when you have to keep getting up to go behind it.
I know, right?
So this is the vodka episode.
Vodka.
Free Pagans on Tap, which I had fun, like going and picking out vodka yesterday for this. And this all came about because Gwen was like, you all should do flavored vodka because I want you to bring home stuff after you're done. So I guess this is Gwen's episode. The rest of you all welcome, but the wife picked what we were doing. My wife, not their wives.
Right.
So Lauren Faithful Scuba says, pay no attention to the room behind the curtain.
Yes, please don't. Please not.
And Finn Odinson's already going to look for your TikTok.
Oh, no.
So I had a very interesting Sunday, right? So I did the Zoom call that I normally do, and there were no Odinsons in it. It was very strange. No Sarenth, no Malik, no Finn. I'm like, what in the world? Now all three of you all are here all at once. So I don't know what this means, but
we just got to play catch up. That's all.
Surprise.
I guess we should introduce ourselves again since this is only episode 4.
Right.
So I am Karan Adagda, and I do a podcast called Three Pagans and a Cat, along with Gwen and Ode, who are my oldest child and my lovely bride. Oh, I guess I also should also say I'm COO of a brewery, meadery, and a distillery.
Yes, you should, because that's awesome.
That matters.
Right.
And not only that, but you're also, I believe, a grade A sommelier?
Yes. Yep.
And also the equivalent of the beer tasting. I can't remember what the name
is. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. For fun.
All right.
I am those things.
Sarenth, you're next because you're late, because I'm going to throw you under the bus all night.
All right. So I am Sarenth Odinson. I'm a heathen spirit worker, and I'm a Gothi of a small kindred here in Southeast Michigan. I write for a living. I am at sarenth.wordpress.com. My Patreon is Sarenth Odinson on Patreon. So if you want to support me doing writing, prayers, and now videos, hit me up there. You can also hit me on sarenth@gmail.com. So feel free to send me an email. I am an amateur brewer. I don't have any of the certifications or the experience in life that either of these folks do. So I am the amateur hour here at Three Pagans on Tap.
All right, Malik, it's you now.
Yeah, your turn.
All right, fine. I'm Malik Odinson. I am a heathen plus because I do other stuff too, which you can find at malik.home.blog, which is my WordPress. And yeah, former professional brewer. More on that to come. Yeah, that's actually it for me. Like I don't have as much as these folks do.
So since Sarenth brought up Patreon,
Yep,
I guess we should talk about that.
we should talk about that.
We should talk about that. Let me.
Jesus, isn't that a death sentence?
That was like some kind of weird echo chamber. All right, so we are going to be starting a Three Pagans on Tap Patreon.
Yes.
And thanks to Malik, we have levels for those. So Malik, do you want to go through the levels?
Yeah, sure. So we're starting off at Taster, the basic level of support, $3 a month. Your name, if desired, listed as a supporter of the show. Next is a half pint, $6 shout out on the show and access to polls, which will be favorite drinks, voting for things we should review next, etc. Things like that. You get to pick what we drink at some point. After that is a pint, $9. Know ahead of time at least one thing each of us individually is going to be drinking, so you can drink with us in addition to the things before. Flagon, $18 a month. Access to review cards of each of our favorite drinks from each episode. So we'll take notes, tell you what we thought in a written form, so you can actually keep it for later.
We actually have professional scorecards for all of those as well.
We do, which is actually really cool. Like the cards are really well put together, and I really like them. Horn is $27, which includes 1 per month recipe ideas for homebrew. This might be beer, might be mead, might be ciders, could be kind of anything. No promises of success
because it's not legal.
Yes, pretty much. No promises on success, but they will at least be well thought out. But yeah, no promises on success. I don't know. Cara thought that was really funny before the show.
Damn, he's
we'll
not just
have
throwing you under
a.
the bus.
I'm in a mood tonight. It happens
See.
all the time.
So it's not just when I'm late.
No, just all the time. You won't know. Toast will be our limited sponsor level, $36 a month. This gets you a free commercial once a month on the show. Yeah, so I'm not sure actually exactly how many we're limiting that to. Probably 3 to start, but I'm not 100% sure. And then our highest level is Barrel, $45 a month, which includes once a month you can get a divination from one of us. And it'll probably rotate every month who it is.
Yep.
So yeah, and that's our, which won't be launching this week, will be launching next episode. So
Correct.
Awesome.
All right, so we got that all out of the way. Anything else you all want to bring up before we start getting drunk and it won't matter?
Just seeing if you guys wanted to plug your other projects. Like, for instance, I'm Around the Grandfather Fire is my other podcast. And this is a vlog, so I guess it's kind of a podcast.
Yeah.
So that's my other major project that I work with Jim Stovall and Caitlin Stormbreaker on, and we talk about everything from shamanism to spirituality, science, pop culture, magic, pretty much anything that you can think of, we probably talk about.
And then I believe in December we're having a Three Pagans Around Grandfather Fire episode.
Yes, we are. That's going to be real fun.
Yeah, yep. So, yeah, we enjoy doing those. So it'll be nice. Hopefully we'll be able to get together and do it rather than this way. But
Thank you.
Also,
Thank you. Because my wife's awesome.
Oh goodness. So I know Malik preloaded with food this time instead of coming in completely empty stomached for an episode. Did you need to do that?
Oh no, I'm good. I ate before I came on.
Okay, good. All right, cool. Good. All right, who wants to start? Anybody?
Well, I'm actually cool with starting because these mocktails are mixed and ready to go.
All right, cool. Let's do the mocktail. Are we doing the mocktail first?
Yeah, it'll be a first for us doing mocktails first because this thing's frosted and ready to go.
Wow. Good.
That's what I was working on. That's why I was late, because the damn mixer for the other one. So this first one is a dirty martini mocktail. This took me a bit of prep time because I actually had to make the water that's in this. It is potato water, basically, that I've strained.
Darwin, are you looking for
Thank
these?
you. That's exactly what I was looking for, and that's on my lap. Thank you. So, anyway, dirty martini.
Scuba says late, but prepared.
Mostly. Yes. So I had to actually cook 4 russet potatoes for this thing to get the water from it to get the vodka flavor for this, because the other option was going out and buying non-alcoholic vodka, which would have taken for gods. So in terms of tasting like a martini, it's not gonna. You're lacking some pretty basic ingredients from the distillation and the mouthfeel of actual vodka. As a substitute, it's not terrible. It's not my favorite. But if you're doing mocktails and somebody wants to have a dirty martini, this is a way to do it. Probably a 1 out of 5. It basically tastes like potato starch and a little bit of salt water, because of the basic prep for it is you boil the russet potatoes, you put them in a strainer, strain off your water, put the water into a chilled container, chill the water, and then you put it in a tumbler with half a cup of ice, shake the shit out of it. After you put 1.8 ounces of the olive water in it from the olive juice, and then you mix the living hell out of that, and that's your dirty martini. And I even have a little couple of olives in here.
Very nice.
I don't know. I don't know. I saw this and went, interesting. I will give it a shot. And I've given it a shot, and I'm not enthused about it.
That sounds not great.
Also, I'm not an olive lover, so the particular taste of this stuff, it's not my favorite.
Did you go out and buy olives just for this?
Here's the pain in the ass about today. I did. And then I broke the container they were in.
Oh, no.
So I busted the container. I ended up having to use olives we had in the fridge, which was fine because I didn't realize we had them, and they were the big ones. I bought a bunch of little small ones. So it was fine. It's fine. But it's been a day just prepping for this.
Oh, well. Somebody had to have a day.
So that's the non-alcoholic martini. I can throw the recipe to you after the show.
Awesome.
Yeah, you know what? I suffer for my art, damn it.
I was gonna say, not being an olive person, like that's the entire flavor profile of a dirty martini. Is just olives and brine.
Yep.
If that's the flavor profile, then it fits the flavor profile. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
It's fair.
I am much more of a daiquiri person than a margarita person, which is kind of what this was trying to be. Would you like me to go into this one?
Sure, why not? I mean, you're here.
Thanks. So I'm just going to spoon this off. Spatula it off. I had some issues with this one too because it didn't want to blend.
Melkor says we appreciate a man with dedication.
Now, I actually like this. I had a couple of people try this one. I had my brother try the potato water martini, and he did not care for it. And he is much more of an experienced drinker than what I am. So this thing was a pain in the ass because I didn't want to grind, and it took me most of the time that I thought I had to get on the show.
Why is it that everything you say is innuendo? Anyway, continue.
What'd I say?
Don't worry about it. Just keep going.
Okay. Well, anyway, this is good.
Melkor.
Directly from the container.
Coward.
Sign up at the highest Patreon level. You want to see me chug this? Sign up at the highest Patreon level.
God, that's a challenge.
I love olives and potatoes and not alcohol. And that still sounds hideous.
Let it not be said I have not made sacrifices for this channel. It was gross. It was the first thing I mixed in that damn tumbler, too.
So how was this one that...
This is probably a 2.53 out of 5. I mean, I like strawberry daiquiris, and this is basically what this is.
Gotcha.
So, if you like... The problem with this one, I would take the limeade out, because they were like, put 12 ounces of limeade in this thing. I'm like, Jesus. So I actually had to doctor it because the limeade was so strong. When I had all my testers try it, they all mouths puckered.
Oh, wow.
I liked it, but to make it a bit more drinkable, I threw some V8 strawberry banana in there, and it doesn't bother the profile too much because you already got the strawberries in it.
Right.
So the original one is a cup of ice, a 12-ounce limeade frozen container, and a cup or two of strawberries. Mix well. Boom. That's your cocktail.
That'll do it, yeah.
Where's Mother Multiverse's innuendo counter from Amanda? Emily said, last time you presented a reward for signing up for a Patreon, you ended up making videos.
If we keep this up and I make an OnlyFans and people sign up for it, I don't care.
All right.
There's a thought you all needed.
So I have 4 different vodkas, so I guess I'll go next.
Holy shit.
So this is Ravo vodka. This is a product of Sweden, which is the same place that Absolute comes from. And it's not terribly expensive. So I'm going for the inexpensive again.
Cool.
Although I got yelled at. So I bought all of these vodkas at Tilly's here in Traverse City. If you live in the Traverse City area, Tilly's is the place to go, in my opinion. But I went in and the guy behind the counter was like, hey, I watched your video. You were wrong on the price of the PBR whiskey. It's only $13 a fifth. I was like, well, dang it, $13. It's really good.
That PBR bus is just never going to slow down, Car.
No, it's really not.
At this point, they're going to ask us for a sponsorship.
Right.
Because we're the only ones talking about them positively.
All right.
All right.
Well, it smells like vodka. I mean, vodka kind of all smells the same, I think. Pretty smooth. Not a ton of alcohol burn to it.
That's good.
It's 40%, so it's 80 proof.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a bad vodka. It's made with winter wheat,
Ooh.
which I found super interesting. And then it's natural spring water that actually pops up on the distillery's land, and they run it through an RO system. And Sweden's kind of known for their water sources being very pure. So it does not. I mean, it tastes very good, but it is just a straight vodka. Now, I normally pour Coke into all of mine to try them, but this being the vodka episode, I'm doing Bundaberg ginger beer for all of it. So, which is my personal favorite ginger beer, not Malik's though.
Well, no, but that's because I'm from South Carolina, and that's where I just said the name and looked it up before the show, and now I can't bloody remember.
Yeah, neither. It's that one from that place that does a thing.
It should still be in your research results, though.
It is. I just found it. Blenheim is my favorite because I'm a lunatic, and Blenheim is so spicy I can barely drink it because it's got so much ginger in it. And, that's how I like things because I'm crazy.
Y'all are good.
I like super gingery stuff, too. That's why Malik and I were talking about earlier, Sarenth. I have a mead that I'm working on that is a straight hot ginger.
Oh, okay.
So,
Yeesh.
Melkor asks, does it sit on the paint thinner or rubbing alcohol side? I would say neither. It's really good. And this is not a flavored vodka. This is Scubus, not a flavored vodka, just a straight up vodka. I do have 3 other flavored vodkas sitting here. But it does make a good, although I'm not drinking it in a copper mug, it does make a good Moscow Mule.
Mm.
So there you go, the first one out of the way.
Very nice. So I guess it's my turn.
I did have to point this out too. It did achieve a 94 on Wine Enthusiast.
Ooh.
So for a fairly inexpensive vodka from Sweden, 94 on Wine Enthusiast is pretty flippin' amazing. It's also non-GMO, gluten-free, nothing but vodka, and it's kosher.
Huh.
So it's all of those things.
Nice.
Very good.
Only Amanda Hicks would say you could always make your own ginger beer.
I mean,
every time Amanda's on a Zoom call, she's making something.
Mm-hmm.
This is
something.
True.
Yeah.
And usually in large quantities too.
Right. She's probably actually making something right now watching this.
Probably.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
All right.
Yeah, I guess I'll go next. So I don't drink straight vodka because I just don't like it. I just don't. So I'm just only doing cocktails tonight because that's how I like to drink vodka.
Sure.
This is my favorite vodka drink, which is a Blind Russian. For those of you who are familiar with the Big Lebowski, the White Russian, which the dude drinks, is is kind of the little cousin to the Blind Russian. So a White Russian is a couple ounces of vodka, an ounce of coffee liqueur, and an ounce of heavy cream. Mix it up. Pretty tasty. The Blind Russian takes the heavy cream and replaces it with Irish cream liqueur. Ups the alcohol a little bit, so Blind Russian, and a lot tastier in my opinion. Like the alcohol's whatever, but I just like the taste better. Between the Irish cream and the coffee, it's very much like an adult milkshake, which is kind of fun. And it doesn't much matter what kind of coffee liqueur or vodka you use because it's a cocktail, right? It gets mixed in. However, I will say, in my personal super prejudiced opinion, it does matter what kind of Irish cream liqueur you use, and I will always recommend St. Brendan's because it's one of the very few Irish cream liqueurs that's made with Irish whiskey instead of vodka. Like Bailey's is made with vodka, not with Irish whiskey. So
let me just say, nobody should. Well, shit. I probably shouldn't say it. I am not a fan of McGuire's Irish cream, which is my actual last name. But yeah, stay away from it if you if you want my opinion. So Amanda said earlier that not if it's made from wheat, it's not celiac safe. And so I wanted to read this real quick on this Ravo vodka. Is that Eurofin's food testing has tested it, and it is completely gluten-free, even though it's made from winter wheat. How they accomplished that, I do not know, because I neither work for the distillery nor the food testing place. But according to Eurofin's food testing, it is completely gluten-free. So I've done my part now.
fair enough.
All right.
But yeah, I will drink St. Brendan's straight because I really like it that much. But yeah, also because I'm a lunatic. What do you want from me?
So, kind of diving off of the subject of St. Brennan, what area does vodka and similar spirits hold in your practice? As a heathen, or as for myself as a heathen, for you as a druid?
I don't know. That's the honest answer. Whiskey always seems to be great. Push, especially from the Celtic pantheon. And I would assume that's because, whiskey is huge in Ireland. Not that all the Celtic gods come from Ireland, but quite a few of them do. The Tuatha and Don do. So, so I assume that's why it is. So it doesn't have a huge push with me, although, Sweden is somewhat in the Norse area. So I assume there were Vikings from there. And that would be a push certainly for Ode, for their practice, and Gwen, both of them, who have a few heathen gods they worship, or for Ode, the entire pantheon. And I think even for me, I think Kernonos, because it's Kernonos is kind of he's listed like once, and then we have a couple of drawings of him, and he's a horned god. And so I think vodka would fit very well with Kernonos, though I don't have a super close relationship with him yet. I'm working on it. So we'll see. How's that for an answer? We'll see.
There you go. For me, I think I've offered vodka to Odin once. I think. Yeah, I think. I've heard a lot of UPG floating around that Odin is fond of it. I don't drink vodka. I don't offer vodka. So vodka in particular, not a lot. I will say I've got plans very soon to start a small altar on my bar to the spirits of alcohol, because doing the podcast, it's a thing I think about all the time now.
Right.
So might as well. Which is kind of a flippant way to say that, and I'm not doing it flippantly, but I'm rambling. I don't know.
No, that makes total sense, though.
Yeah. I didn't have a bar until we started this podcast.
Right?
It's grown huge.
And now your family appreciates it. What,
I mean, the reason I ask is I have a pretty decently storied history with vodka and offerings. But I wanted to get your guys' perspective on things before I jumped into mine. I was first exposed to the idea of vodka as a regular offering through the writings of Saran Garel, who wrote Chasing Wind Horses and another book on Siberian shamanism that the name of escapes me right now. But Saran Garel is a Siberian trained shaman in the proper use of the term. And I ran into her writings very early on as a heathen spirit worker, back when I was calling myself a heathen shaman. And so I said, well, she said, your own spirits might like this offering. I'm like, well, fuck it. I'll try anything once. And they really dug it. So while I don't do as they do, where they sprinkle the offering of vodka with a spoon, a special spoon set aside for that purpose, I do make regular offerings of vodka. I have 2 of them right here with me. Actually, 3, thanks to my wife. So, Stolichnaya, Seagram's Extra Smooth, and Smirnoff 100. And I usually keep a flask in my spirit work bag. One has water, one has whiskey, one has vodka. And so I'll keep those, generally speaking, in my kit in case anybody needs offerings or cleansing, because they serve both purposes. I mean, you want to talk about cleansing, 100 proof alcohol, your ass is cleansed once you get this on your skin. You'll feel it. So,
yeah.
Do we only offer what we drink? That's an excellent question. No, I don't. Yep. Because if that was the case, there'd be drinks that I probably wouldn't offer.
Mm-hmm.
I am not a regular consumer of red wine, but I'll happily offer it.
I'm much the same, although actually I really like it.
Sorry, Mother.
Yeah.
Apparently I've been very good with it.
The offering what we drink. No. That's a good point. Not putting extra sugar on, especially plant roots and tree roots. I understand is a good thing, because they'll fungus growth and stuff.
Yeah.
Which is why it's not recommended to pour like cream or honey or milk on tree roots as an offering, because it'll rot the roots. But yeah, I have absolutely offered things that I don't drink. Not super often, just because I don't keep things I don't drink around. But I will and have in the past. Like, it's probably going to happen tonight. Odin's probably going to ask for vodka, so I'm probably going to give it to him. Right. That's how that goes. I don't drink a lot of vodka. I will, but I don't generally. So, and
you are.
Yeah. Well, and if my gods ask for something, I'm gonna give it to him. If it's something that I can do, right. I'm going to do it. Like, there are things that I can't do, and if I can't do it, I'll be like, hey guys, I can't. But generally speaking, if they want something, I do my best.
Mm-hmm.
So Carly Hodges says, my standards for myself are way lower than my standards for my offerings.
That's a fair point.
Yep. And I think that's true. When we do Outdweller offerings, I tend to give the best possible beer I can. Beer that I often buy for myself because I feel like it's too expensive, but will buy it for an offering to the Outdwellers. And Finn said, I've never offered vodka as they have never requested it from me.
Well, that's fair.
And that may change now.
Yeah.
It's kind of you're involved in a vlog talking about vodka, so you may get a ping. You just never know.
Yeah, sometimes the gods will use whatever means you give them to give you a message.
Yep.
Sometimes it's a vlog. Sometimes it's some random smattering of words in the street that form a sentence. That is actually a legit form of divination. So have fun.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
the number of times that I have been driving and just listening to one of my favorite CDs, and then suddenly it's like, oh fuck, what did that song just say? And yeah, that's happened a number of times.
So, Sarenth, do you actually have an alcohol to go with?
I've got a couple of them, yeah.
Okay, good.
So I've got Seagram's Extra Smooth. I haven't cracked this one yet. It wasn't very expensive. I don't think I paid much more than $6 for it. And keeping in mind it's not a fifth, it's one of these, but it's glass.
Oh,
Hey.
no.
So, you know, we'll see.
Or something.
Skull.
Hey.
Not too bad on the burn. It's not rubbing alcohol and it's not paint thinner. It's just, it is smooth. But, you know, when you knock it back like that, it kind of rolls in your mouth and kind of goes, hi, there's a little bit of a fire here, but it's not like I am going to set your throat on fire. So it's pretty smooth. You know, as far as vodkas go, I'm not a huge connoisseur of any drinks, let alone vodka. But this is what I could see myself drinking more regularly. So 3.5.
There you go.
I didn't rate Rabo. I forgot. Dang it.
Well,
I suck at this thing. 3.
Okay.
There we go. Carly says, I keep a bottle of Basil Hayden's, or however it's spelled, around for offerings, but I rarely buy it for myself since it's kind of spendy.
And that's legit.
Yep.
Mhm.
Like the Smirnoff, I've got two bottles of this. I got this small one, and they only paid $4.23 for it. And then I got this big honking one, and I originally bought this guy so that I could do herbs in alcohol and do tinctures that way.
Gotcha.
So
Scuba says, that was a hell of a reaction progression. You got to understand that when Sarenth drinks, the reactions are not necessarily always to the alcohol. It could also be to how the gods are talking to him while that's going on.
yeah, like, oh, you should have some more of that, or we want some of that.
Right.
So this is Smirnoff 100, and it is what it says in the tin. It is a 50% alcohol by volume. Ooh. Oh, nope. Wow. That's a 1.5 or a 2. The burn on that is very much up front and doesn't stop as it goes down your throat. Woof. I much prefer the Seagrams. Jesus.
So once you get to about 50%, and it varies a little bit, but once you get to about 50% alcohol, you get into the range of things that you can use as a clinical sanitizer.
Right.
No
Like
shit.
anywhere from
Everything
like
in my mouth's dead now.
yeah, pretty much. Like legitimately, kind of yes. I work in a microbiology lab. That's what I do for a living. Anything from about 50% to about 70% is kind of the sweet spot for sanitizing range, and that's with 70 being kind of the ideal. But yeah, you basically just drank sanitizer. Good job.
Yeah.
I just read, because we're doing a distillery soon, starting to read a bunch of stuff about it. And I just read that you can distill used coffee grounds, and it makes a coffee liqueur that comes out at 190 proof.
Jesus.
And you can do it twice with the same grounds
Holy shit.
and get the same proof. So I'm like, playtime. Obviously, you have to cut it after that, but
Yeah.
One hopes.
Otherwise it's illegal. So
Look, it makes you go blind.
but it was a university in Portugal who did the study.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
I gotta look that up because now I want to know. Because now the scientist in me is like, how?
right. Yeah. So here's what Emily said earlier. I keep Rika on hand for offerings. While getting my whiskey one day, a stranger walked over, pointed at it, and said, "You should get that one. It's good to share." Then he winked and walked away whistling.
Shit. Okay.
And Carly said, "Well, that's an obvious sign."
Hi, Odin.
Like, yeah, you got visited. Congrats. Oh.
And the fun part about that is that that person may or may not even realize what they're doing. It's just, okay, fine then. That's a sign. Gotcha.
Cool, thanks.
So talking about brewing the coffee, I get, holy fuck, I want some. I volunteer as a taste tester. The fumes alone are going to take you out, and for research purposes. So we shall see.
Yep.
Yep.
All right.
Ooh, what's this?
So it's a Smirnoff Kissed Caramel. I bought this one not because I like caramel, but because Gwen does.
Oh.
So
Enjoy.
yeah, you know. I mean, I don't dislike caramel, but it kind of is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Holy crap. It definitely smells like caramel, though.
That's good.
Like buttery caramel. Huh. That's super interesting.
Now my reg smells like hand sanitizer.
Well, the good news is you at least didn't spit it out all over your laptop or your computer.
Jesus. Ugh. Man, that burns. What's your proof on that, just out of curiosity?
On the Smirnoff,
Yeah.
it is on the bottle somewhere.
My guess is 80 proof, but I'm not.
No, it's 60. It's only 30% alcohol.
That's not bad.
All right.
It's a triple distilled vodka.
The
Revo was 5 times distilled, which, like, that's a lot of distilling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is really effing tasty, man. I don't like caramel all that much, but this is great. It doesn't really burn at all.
That's good.
Unlike what you just said. Wow, that's actually really, really good. And Smirnoff at least claims to be the world's #1 vodka maker. But, you know, when you have to make the claim yourself, I'm not sure it's true.
I mean, I'm sure they're #1 in something, whether it's, quality, I can't say.
Sorry, hold on. Emily.
Oh, that's sterilizing Sarth, and you're still foul mouthed. Hey, fucking men. That's because it doesn't need to be cleansed.
All right. So we're going to try this Kissed Caramel Vodka with Bundaberg ginger beer.
Ooh.
Wow. That's amazingly good.
I believe it.
The thing I like about Bundaberg is it's not super sweet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of ginger beers are just really, really sweet. This one's not. And I think that's why this works with it. I'm not sure it would work with a sweet ginger beer. But because the Kissed Caramel is sweet as it is. Okay, so Josie, can you remind us how proof ABV works?
Proof is just double your ABV.
Yep.
That's it.
Exactly.
It's literally 2x.
All it says is this is how much alcohol is for how much liquid.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
So-
proof is double whatever the alcohol by volume is.
Mhm.
its alcohol by volume is 37.5. So
You would pick the
There you
weird
go.
one.
yeah,
You know
well,
what? For shits and grins, since you guys have been trying, we've been trying mixed. I am going to try a shot of the Smirnoff 100 in this.
that's the shit you didn't like.
It's the shit I didn't like. I'm going to try it in this mixer.
Oh,
And the daiquiri?
Yeah, I'm going to try it in the daiquiri. Because
Sweet.
damn it,
so what
why
used
not?
to be a non-alcoholic daiquiri is soon going to be an alcoholic daiquiri.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look at that.
They're probably separated in all the pockets at the time.
Oh, that's actually pretty good.
I believe you. Yeah.
That's pretty goddamn good, actually. Mm.
Yeah.
So it hides terrible taste, but you get the higher ABV.
It kicks the heat down. The actual, like, okay, when it hits your mouth, it is actually pretty smooth. It's just all fire. But it tamps that down quite a lot. And the pucker of the limeade, yeah, lighter fluid. That is pretty much what I'm drinking. But the daiquiri, between the limeade and the strawberry, it kicks the burning down, and so you just taste the vodka. It's pretty tasty.
Huh.
So as a mixer, this is pretty good.
Yeah.
There you go. So I'm going to give this Smirnoff a 4.25.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
That's
gonna
really
try it
high rating
now.
so far.
I'm highly surprised by it. Again, not a huge caramel or caramel, depending on where you're from, fan. But that's really, really tasty. And I know my wife's going to be super happy with me. So
I mean,
That's half the battle right there.
Right there. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, you could throw
I think that's for the caramel.
yeah, that actually might be really good. Yeah, that actually probably would be really good.
I'm
Blind
not
caramel
sure
Russian.
about- We don't live close enough to like just trade stuff.
We wish.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it'd be nice. I'm just saying, Malik, you know, we have Stryker over here in Kalamazoo if you're interested.
I mean, yeah, I can say that without breaking my non-disclosure. Funny enough, I've done a bit of testing for Stryker actually at my current job.
Gotcha.
Nice.
So, you know, anyway. And Sarenth, I'm sure we can find you something. Anyway, moving everybody to Kalamazoo. That's my goal. So anybody who wants to move to Kalamazoo, just let me know. I'll find you a place to live.
Oh, man.
Everybody. We're just going to make this Paganopolis.
I'm good with this.
I'm
Yeah.
down for it. Like, I frequently, in a not joking fashion, talk about making a pagan commune with Sarenth and others, like,
I
consistent.
have also talked about that. So, yeah, I get it. And we get Hi, man.
There we
in.
go.
Nice.
I don't know where you currently live, Carly, but more power to you. Come on.
So, Malik, do you have any other drinks available for us?
Yes, I do. I've got two. So tonight I'm drinking two vodkas, both from New Amsterdam. I picked New Amsterdam purely because I really like their gin. So while I was at the store,
Kalamazoo.
perfect.
And here you see the heathen in its natural habitat, drinking mead and eating pork. Let's watch.
Sarenth, you're starting the OnlyFans later.
Damn.
Anyway, I'm drinking. Sarenth would have to come with the tree.
Roam the answer on the march.
Oh, geez.
Talk or breathe.
Oh, my gosh.
Anyway, I really like New Amsterdam's gin. So I picked that for my vodkas for tonight just because it was right next to each other on the shelf. And I'm very lazy. So I picked up their regular vodka and their pineapple vodka. It is very good gin. I really like it. And I am currently drinking the Shitty Cosmo, which is 4 ounces of vodka and an unknown amount of cranberry juice because I just topped off whatever was left of the glass.
It took me a minute to realize you weren't saying that. Okay, that's the drink name. I got you.
Oh my god!
Like, folks, this is my first I followed the recipe mixed drink so I'm not very well versed in anything. Like when I tell people I am the newbie here, I am not kidding.
That's fair. So I call it the Shitty Cosmo because it's not like actually following any Cosmo recipe. Cosmo is basically cranberry juice and vodka.
Mm. Probably not.
Although, hipster bars, it might be a thing.
Right, yeah.
Shitty Cosmo is a freaking mood. Yeah, kind of. So, for people who aren't used to making cocktails, generally speaking, when they're not weird cocktails, you want to do 2 main things. You want an acid source and you want a sugar source. So for most cocktails, this is simple syrup, which is super easy to make at home. It's 1 part sugar to 1 part water. Get the sugar to dissolve. Usually you need heat. Put it on the stove. Try not to let it boil because you don't want to caramelize the sugar too much. Unless you do because you're fancy, but whatever.
If you're trying to make simple syrup, don't do that.
Well, yeah.
If you do it lightly, you can still get a good simple syrup out of it, and it's great. But go ahead.
Yeah. So simple syrup it goes in almost every cocktail. Like it just does. Because it's just sugar. It's sugar in liquid form, so it dissolves easier. Half price night sells anything? Yeah, kind of. Especially in college towns, which I've talked about being a broke college student before, right?
Yep.
And then an amazing amount of cocktails have lemon juice and lime juice in them because they're super easy acid sources. And the human tongue, when it wants a cocktail, generally speaking, you want to go for sweet, sour, and then your liquor. Like a whiskey sour is literally like sour mix you buy at the store is basically sugar, lemon juice, and lime juice.
Yep.
You can make a better version of it at home with lime juice you buy in a bottle, lemon juice you buy in a bottle, and simple syrup, and that's it.
Yep.
And a Cosmo hits all those because you measure cocktails with your heart. I mean, I do at least.
As do I.
Cranberry juice, because it's very acidic, hits the acid, and because it's a juice, hits the sugar. So you mix that with vodka, and boom, decent cocktail. It's super easy to make. So yeah, that's what I'm doing for the first one, and then for the other one, which I'll grab and show the camera, not that it's exciting looking, is the same thing just with pineapple vodka. So we'll see how that goes. I like Cosmos. They're not phenomenal. They're not my drink of choice, but I'll drink one any day of the week. Like, they're good. I like cranberries.
Little tart.
Alcohol. Yeah, it's tart. It's sugar. It's good.
Yeah.
Cheers. Somebody go or I'll ramble forever.
Okay.
No, you have to tell us now. I mean, you just tried it, so.
All right.
Ramble.
This is it's pretty decent Cosmo. You don't taste most of the alcohol because I put enough cranberry juice in here that I'm not tasting most of the alcohol. I can tell it's there, but not anything that's bad at all. You can't see it because my lighting's not great and also because it's dark. I put a couple of the fancy cherries because I restocked my bar and bought the fancy Luxarado cherries.
Oh, Luxarado maraschinos.
Yeah, they're
okay.
just.
If you're going to do maraschino cherries, that's the only way to do them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Although they're also like $20 for a jar. So
Yes, but they are amazing. They're like aged 3 years.
yeah, and honestly, they're worth every penny. Like,
Yep. Agreed.
they're so good.
Yep.
Yeah, those are hiding at the bottom waiting for me, and we're gonna really enjoy that when we get there.
That's the other thing is those cherries soak up so much of the alcohol that by the time you get to them, they're amazing. So I know people who buy like mixed drinks and they get the maraschino cherry on top and they eat it first. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Take it off the little skewer, let it drop to the bottom, drink your drink, and then eat the maraschino cherry, and your life will be complete.
Yep.
Oh, here you go. Melkor. If you want to be fancy or add some magic effects, edible glitter is fun to add to drinks.
All the fun of EK without the taste of cough syrup. I don't know what Vinky is, but
Neither do I. Yeah.
I have had edible glitter in beer because my boss at the brewery was a crazy person, and he just anyway. Those are stories for when I'm actually drunk.
We'll get there.
Yeah. Edible glitter, if it's done correctly, you don't taste a thing. It's literally just shiny shit that you don't notice. And if it's edible and not just non-toxic, it gets completely digested, etc.
Right.
Most glitter is actually toxic. Don't do that. And then you've got non-toxic glitter, which is not bad for you, but still don't do it. Buy the edible glitter. Like, buy edible glitter if you're going to consume it.
Carly asks, would a regular cherry work? Those weird bright red ones are gross. So I will tell you that what Malik and I are talking about are not that bright red color.
Yes.
They're very dark, almost black cherries, and they're unbelievable. And I would say that a regular cherry would not have the same effect.
Yeah. I think it's something about how they're prepared. They're like soaked in sugars and aged for a while and stuff. And I don't know. I haven't done any research. I don't know how they're made, but the way that they interact with alcohol is different.
Kai said, all right, adding edible glitter to all of Malik's drinks from now on.
They'll do it too. They'll do it. I know they will.
And Jason said, do it, Kai.
My friends, y'all. My friends.
Emily says, glitter, herpes of the craft world.
It really is. It really is. And you know what? I almost hope that Kai does start adding glitter to my drinks just so that glitter gets all over their house. Although I don't actually wish that because other people live there.
You know what you should do is if they're going to do that, you need to tell Alex.
All right.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't
Moving on.
Okay. So Carly asked, that's awesome. I'll have to try to find them. What was the brand again, Malik?
Luxarado. If you give me just a second, I'll grab the bottle so that I can show people.
One
moment.
Mississippi. You're already more than a second. So Kai said, I usually add it to my Cosmos for Carl Sagan Day. Glitter.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah. I think edible glitter's cool. I really like Goldschlager, which has 24 karat gold leaf in it, which is delicious. So, and there's a couple of those kind of things out there. There's Luxarado.
It's hella dark.
There are maraschino cherries, but they do not look like maraschino cherries.
Not at all.
Yeah, you can't even see through the bottle.
The glass is clear. Like, that's not colored glass. That's just the syrup and the cherries.
Yeah.
Nice.
And let me tell you that the Luxarado syrup, the cherry syrup, is fucking delicious. You shouldn't drink it alone, but you should put it in a drink.
Yeah. Like when you're spooning the cherries out, grab some of the syrup, put it in your drink. It's good.
Right.
Something I wanted to point out as we're talking about vodkas and cherries and stuff like that. So if you've got ancestors in your family line that have alcohol problems, some of the mocktails we've talked about are great. And also some of the non-alcoholic beers that are out there might be something you might try offering them, particularly if they were alcoholics or had issues with alcoholics in their life. If they still want to kind of feel like they're part of, but don't want to partake, this is something that you can offer them. Emily was asking what the shelf life on those cherries is.
I don't. Hold on. Let me see if it's got an expiration. So I bought these cherries like a couple of days ago, and they are best before December 31st, 2024.
Yeah. So
They're going to be a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they are delicious. I've actually drizzled them over ice cream, which Jason Davis said, or put them in hot chocolate, with Scuba said. Yeah, and I've put them over ice cream. They are fucking delicious. So it's well worth the investment to get good maraschino cherries rather than just the standard stuff that comes out.
Yep. And this entire episode is now a commercial for Luxarado cherries. You're welcome.
Right.
Well, I mean, we're talking about alcohol and other kinds of shit. We're just going to talk about brands. It's okay.
Yeah.
Some brands may hate us. Some brands may love us.
We'll always have Pabst.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not wrong.
All right, are we back to me?
Yep, I think
we're back
so.
to you.
All right. So, Stoli or Stolchenaya, blueberry.
Ooh.
So,
well, you're drinking that. I'm going to drink the regular stuff.
Somebody, I don't remember who it was. It might have been Finn, who was like, "You need to drink blueberry vodka." So,
what's the proof on yours?
On my blueberry?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It is 75 proof or 37.5% alcohol.
Mine's 40% ABV or 80 proof.
Right. I got 3 pots brought to you by Luxarado Cherries and PBR Whiskey. Quite honestly, I think Luxarado Cherries would elevate the PBR Whiskey significantly. Well, that's super interesting. The burn on the Stoli is actually more than the other 2 I've had. So it's more burn than Ravo, which is a 40% alcohol. And this is a 37.5. It's way more burny. So
I come to you once again to feel the burn.
Yeah, it tastes vaguely of blueberries. Sorry, I gotta put this up. Melkor. The cherries were aged longer than the PBR.
I mean, probably.
It didn't take long. If they had gone 6 seconds, they would have been more.
You know.
I'm not a fan. It's I mean, the blueberry is very muted. You know it's blueberry, but it's just a muted taste because the burn is just so there.
Yeah. I had a similar experience.
So, again, Bundenberg. Let's see if it helps.
Good point.
One can only hope. Because otherwise, I don't know what's going to happen to that. I mean, I have to take it home. Maybe Gwen will like it. I don't know.
Hopefully Glenn likes it.
Or Ode or Jackson. Somebody will like it, I'm sure. Nope. Terrible in ginger beer, too.
I'm not surprised.
Oh.
Beer and blueberry does not sound tasty.
Whew.
You're not going to finish that, are you?
Huh?
You're not going to finish that argument.
I'll pour it out later. Yeah, Melkor, like a liquid vodka. Yes. And Scubus, blueberry shouldn't burn. Wow, that was god awful. No.
Don't recommend.
No. And the stupid thing is, it's not even high enough alcohol to burn. So, what's the point?
Can I rant about the different kinds of alcohol now?
Sure. Rant away.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. The regular Stolichnaya doesn't do shit in the other one either.
Yeah. So alcohol as an organic compound comes in a lot of varieties, and I'm not going to go into a bunch of organic chemistry because it's not worth it. But basically, it depends on how many carbons and stuff are in the actual molecule. Generally speaking, the alcohol we want is ethanol, which has 2 groups. The stuff that will make you go blind is methanol, which has 1 group. Super toxic to humans. Surprisingly, the cure for that is ethanol because it binds better to our cells, etc. The stuff that tastes really hot, both in liquor and in like mead, etc., the stuff that gives you that burn feeling are what are called fusel or fusel alcohols, which are other complex alcohols that are kind of under just a big category because organic compounds are really, really, really complicated. I'm not going to go into that. But basically, it's alcohols that have more groups than ethanol. And so I'm trying to put this in layman's terms, and it's really hard because it's also an area I'm not hyper familiar with. Sorry. But basically, the burn that you're tasting is coming from organic chemistry. The burn that you're tasting is from those other alcohols that aren't ethanol. I mean, ethanol will give you a little bit of that burn, but like pure ethanol will not give you the same burn as like not great alcohol that has a bunch of fusel alcohols in it.
Mm-hmm.
Because your nerves just don't react the same way. So that's actually a lot of the reason why you get the smoother flavor from like multiple distillations. That's why you generally find Irish whiskeys to be smoother than Scotch, because Irish whiskey is usually distilled 3 times versus the twice for Scotch. That's why a lot of vodkas are distilled 5 or 6 times. Because that distillation helps to purify that ethanol. So you're getting rid of a lot of those other alcohols that taste like burning.
Right.
And yeah, that's cheaper vodkas, cheaper alcohols don't go through those extra distillation processes. So they've got more of those extra alcohols in there. They're not necessarily dangerous for you. Not at all what I'm saying. But you're going to taste more of that burn because they haven't gone through that extra process of getting rid of those burn tasting alcohols.
Gotcha. Thank you for that lesson.
Thank you.
That's my rant for the night. Not my only rant for the night.
Not your only one? Melkor.
I like the
science. I mean, that's my whole life. You would be amazed even the amount of like professional scientists who do science not well. Like it's actually really surprising because of the way that our society treats science. I'm not going to go into that because I won't shut up for hours. We're not doing that.
So moving on.
Yeah, moving on. What do you got, Trent?
So I have Pinnacle Vodka from France. And It's a really cheap. So the Seagrams was about $6-7. The Smirnoff was about $4.23. This is $2.96 for this. So may the gods be with me. But it's been distilled 5 times, so I'm hopeful.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it doesn't matter what the price is; it matters did they do the work.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I really hope that this is the case. Otherwise, this is going to suck. But it's Pinnacle Vodka. It is a 200 milliliter bottle and 40% alcohol by volume, so 80 proof. Skull. Ooh, that's not bad. It's gonna.
I have concerns.
That's actually on the level of the Seagram smoothness.
Really?
Yes. So
Right.
I gave that like a 3 or a 2.5? Yeah, I give it a 3. I would honestly give Pinnacle probably about a 2.75. It's really smooth. It's not as good as the Seagrams, but it's really good. Yep. I would be most of these except for like even the Smirnoff I'd be okay with offering because I know some of my gods like that burn.
Right.
But that's the other thing about doing offerings is that it's really at the end of the day, I'm not serving necessarily what I like because if I was just opening my cabinet and just pulling out what I like to eat or I like to drink, my palate is probably not as expanded as say Odin's or Freya's.
Right.
So, sometimes they like the really sharp tones or the really tingy notes that I may not, or I find overwhelming or I may not like. Still through a sock. Actually, I don't think so. Whoever did this is really the Pinnacle vodka is not bad at all.
I love
cheap bad decisions. I mean,
gambling man. I'm pleased to be wrong.
Me too, because I bought it and went, oh gods, this is going to hurt.
Wait. A star for each dollar you spent.
Well, it's 2.96 stars.
There you go.
So just a little shy.
Yeah.
Right. So
Do you have anything else, Malik?
I do. I have the Pineapple Cosmo.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, so for one thing, this vodka smells, it's the New Amsterdam pineapple vodka. I'm not going to go get up and grab the bottle. You're just going to have to deal. It smells so much like pineapple. I literally cannot smell the cranberry juice, even though that's most of this drink. I just smell pineapple.
That's good.
And I like this actually better because the pineapple flavor, like the caramel flavor in Car's drink, was it's really strong. $2 line. Yeah, I mean, fair enough. Yeah, the pineapple flavor is really strong, which is something vodka's good at because it's a really neutral mixer. But it mixes really well with the cranberry. And it's just really tasty. Pineapple and cranberry. It tastes good.
Right. So Scuba said, that would be an interesting challenge. What's the cheapest straight alcohol cocktail you make that doesn't suck?
Honestly, this particular cocktail took me like $4 to put together, maybe.
Yeah,
5.
but it's not straight alcohol.
Oh, that's true.
I think I can win this. It's called a Godfather. You take amaretto, which is like dirt cheap. The bottle on my bar is a fifth, and it was $6. And then you take cheap bourbon, because it really doesn't have to be expensive. So you take basically equal parts amaretto and bourbon, mix them, you've got a Godfather. If you're real fancy, you add the Luxarado cherries, and like, I'm not kidding, it's one of my favorite cocktails. Godfather, you can look up a recipe. I generally go a little heavier on the bourbon because I prefer the whiskey flavor to be a little more forward, but you can really do it with equal parts amaretto and bourbon. Oh.
So then does it taste like toasted almonds?
Kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you get the barrel, you get the oakiness from the barrel,
Mm-hmm.
and you get the almond from the amaretto. That would be interesting. And then a dash of cinnamon, and then you have the cinnamon almonds. So Emily says, new category. Surprise, it's not terrible.
Mixes pretty well at a daiquiri. Speaking of which, this mixes really well.
I believe you.
Cool. So I have one more.
Go for it.
This is from Grand Traverse Distillery because, again, I'm in Traverse City working, doing this podcast from a hotel room. This is a True North cherry-flavored vodka with a hint of chocolate, according to the website, though it doesn't say that anywhere on the bottle. And it is 40% alcohol by volume or 80 proof.
Ooh.
And it's cool.
It pops.
It pops.
So the two, wow, that's super cherry. Holy crap.
What did you say this was again?
It's
listen to that pour.
It's Grand Traverse Distillery's True North cherry flavored vodka,
Just
which
listen to
according
that
to
pour.
their website has a hint of chocolate,
Huh.
but it doesn't say it on the bottle. So, it does say with a touch of dark chocolate on the back of the bottle. So there you go. It smells freaking delicious. If it tastes anywhere near where it smells, it'll be my favorite. It does not taste anywhere near where it smells. It's not bad, but it smells more cherry than it tastes cherry. I don't know where they're getting the dark chocolate.
Maybe it's that 5-second distill thing.
5-second age. There you go.
It's not bad. I actually kind of like it. It kind of smells like a cherry lifesaver. You know how that cherry lifesaver has that like super cherry smell, and then you pop it in your mouth, and it's like, oh, that's not really that cherry. It's kind of that same.
Okay, it's got a vibe to it. Gotcha.
Right. Yeah. The smell is great. The taste is there. Somebody had something on their computer, didn't mute, whatever.
Sorry.
We talked about this earlier, Malik.
I'm bad at all things. What do you want from me?
All right, so now I'm going to try it with Bundaberg because why not?
Because it's a thing.
Well, and I'm like, I have literally finished 3 bottles of Bundaberg, 2 of which I drank before we started. Okay, that's good. And interestingly, the chocolate pops a little more.
That's good. Okay.
It's interesting because, like, I guess the ginger's bringing it out. Sorry.
Yeah, I saw that.
Thank you, Kubis.
Yep.
Sat next to a bar of dark chocolate for 5 seconds. Oh my gosh. Interesting, Melkor. Do you think they like the sharp burn because it can be reminded of ye old days? Maybe not sentiment for specific people, but the ancestors who first worshipped as a whole.
I can see that.
I can see that, yeah.
I would say, though, that like the mead of today compared to the mead of ye olden days, certainly from my meadery, is way more potent than what was available back then. So you're going to get more burn out of it than you did in ye olden days.
This is true. Although when we're talking about liquors, because of the advancing of distillation science, we're going to have smoother, better liquors now than we did then.
To an extent.
To an extent.
I mean, like, you know, what were distilleries like back then?
Right.
You know, and how much was it cut? And, you know, it's,
Yeah.
I would think they would all be significantly less alcohol than what we drink today.
Probably yes.
But in terms of the sharp burn, I think that, having done a wild yeast mead,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that it's necessarily the burn that they're looking for. It's that taste of wildness, because I didn't get a burning taste with my mead, for instance. I got really interesting, diverse flavors because of the yeasts that grew out of the farm atmosphere we've got around here. Like,
Right.
I wouldn't take this to a city and try and make wild yeast out of that, but because we live more or less in the country, I can trust the air quality much better. So, the wildness and the flavors, I think that they appreciated the mead from that, because in a sense, having it more refined in some cases, while the quality is better for drinking, actually having it of a lesser quality or of a more wild quality would have been what they were more used to.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
No, it does. Yeah.
I
can
mean,
see
we
that.
have Finn makes this point, and I think it's a good one, that we've got several different yeasts at our disposal where the ancestors only had wild. That's true to a point. There's a reason why brewers were looked at as magic, because they could keep strains going.
Yep.
Right.
I'm thinking of the magical stirring sticks from the ancient heathen cultures that we know of, where it has magical looking symbolism and such on it, and that's in part because the yeast was living in the wood, and it
Right.
it would migrate between batches.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah.
Um,
There is I don't remember who it is, but there's a brewery who has made a beer based on the yeast from their brewer's beard.
Whoa, that's cool.
you've talked
Yeah.
about that before, and I can't.
Now, that's
Who wants a taste of me?
I'm not doing that, but it's out there in the world.
You really
Yeah.
should.
No,
Here are the
Don't.
car that bit you.
God
nope,
damn
we're not doing that.
God damn it. I'm actually also reminded of so a Belgian style of beer called a lambic, which is a wild fermented
Yep.
beer. In particular, this one brand that I'm fond of because I have such a sweet tooth, Lindemans. They've been brewing the same basic beers for like 300 or 400 years. And it's all open fermentation. Their tanks aren't closed. It's all basically open trough brewing. And they don't add any yeast. They just let the wild yeast ferment. And their beers are the same every time, to the point that they can distribute the same beer every time to America from Belgium.
Right.
And the reason that they can do that is because they have cultivated such an environment where those yeast are so prominent, almost nothing else is going to survive as far as microbes go, right? Like, only those yeast thrive in that environment because the culture is so strong there. So, like, you could introduce other things, and I mean, don't like ruin their brewery, but it's really hard for other things to survive because the yeast have just been doing it for so long. That's the only thing that lives there.
Right.
I don't remember where I was going with that.
I don't know. I think that would be. I think it would be weird to do that. Just because I think like trying to cultivate that same yeast constantly would be super hard to do. So they've really got to really work at it.
Oh yeah.
To get that to work. So Carly Hodges asked earlier if my mead was available in Minnesota. It is. Go to norsenectar.com/shop, SHOP, and that will get you there. Finn has said, I've made several of my ciders with wild yeast from apple skins, which works very well. When we were talking about brewers' beers, Emily said, Nope.
Yeah, I can't. I just can't.
I have no desire to do that. I actually like, get my beard completely out of the way when I'm making stuff because I don't want anything in it
Yeah.
that shouldn't be. So, I find that to be important. Not everybody, obviously, because there's a brewery out there that did it. And oddly enough, sold out of it.
I'm not even surprised. The whole craft beer market is just awash with fads like that. I'm not even surprised.
Yeah, it's crazy to me. I don't. Let's see. It was Rogue Brewing who did it.
Of course it was.
Yeah, and they are. It's the official beer of No Shave November.
Naturally.
So.
No, I will even go on record saying this. I do not like Rogue Brewing as a company, and it's not because I don't like their beer. Their beer is fine. My problem with them is that they have a history of treating their employees really, really badly, and I can't abide that. As someone who's worked in the industry, I cannot abide the way that they treat their employees.
Yeah.
At all.
I have, looking around, because I'm now deeply entrenched in the industry, that's kind of across the board. There are not many breweries who treat their employees with the respect they deserve, especially brewers. If the brewer's not the owner, they're pretty much assholes. That's one of the things I want to do is be different.
Yeah.
In everything that we do with our brewery. And I know that there are definitely breweries out there who are different.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say I'm just going to pick a random number, 60% of breweries have issues that are bigger than they should be. And it's because the owners don't take responsibility for what they're doing.
Yep.
So, I'm trying to be different than that. I know there are other breweries out there trying to be different than that. All I can say to people is do your own research. Look at each brewery you buy from. There were times when I wouldn't buy from several breweries because of some of their practices. Once they had solved those issues, I went back to buying their product, but I waited until they had solved them before I did that. So I think it's important that you pay attention to not just the big macro breweries and what they do, but some of these microbreweries too. Pay attention to what they're doing and how they're doing it, and make educated decisions. Don't just buy it because you necessarily quote unquote like the beer or like the mead or like the whatever. Buy it responsibly.
Yeah. Yeah.
I went on a rant. That never happens.
We got Carter rant. Good one.
I know. Good.
But really, it's an important issue because, especially in an industry like the craft beer industry, where you spend your dollars really, really counts, right? A lot of these breweries are working on very thin margins, and where you spend your dollars
matters.
It matters. It matters a lot. Down sometimes even to a single beer bought. It can matter. I've got some horror stories that I will not tell on the air because I just won't do it.
Right.
But there is a reason that honestly, Carly, that's a thing. They play on that a lot. And
right.
I'm not going to throw everyone under the bus because that's not fair at all. There are some absolutely wonderful people in the craft beer industry.
True.
And there are some absolute dickheads. That's where you go. But that's really a thing. Like
that said, that's true in brewing. That's true in paganism. That's true in, I mean, you name a thing, soccer. I don't care what it is. There's always some good people and some dickheads.
Yeah.
And you just need to like do research. And it only takes a little Googling to find out. I mean, if you Google some of the bigger microbrewers here in Michigan, you will know pretty instantly what's going on with them because everybody blogs about it. Everybody talks about it. I think that microbreweries probably have a more tight lens on them than some of the macros because everybody's looking at them very closely because certainly in a specific area. So if you're looking at Founders or Bell's or New Holland here in Michigan, which are three of the bigger ones, at least on the west side of Michigan, then you're going to find out stuff about them pretty quickly because everybody's talking about it.
Yep. Yeah. And like important with pagans too, because intention, magic, all tying into the physical world. Yeah. Don't want to feed into bad people or consume bad vibes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Yes, absolutely. And honestly, that doesn't even just apply to paganism. Like if you're talking about, because the thing is like, it's not like your magic or your spirituality stops when you walk out of your holy room, or like if you walk away from your altar, it's not like your gods stop walking with you. Like,
right.
They know.
Right?
Yeah. They walk with you everywhere. Like they're gods. I mean, personally, I do not subscribe to the idea of omni-gods, the omniscient, omnipotent, etc. Other people do. That's fine. You do you. It's whatever. I don't personally. But not omni doesn't mean not super. Like, Odin knows what I'm up to.
Right.
Just as a rule, he knows what I'm up to. He might not know everything, but he knows generally speaking.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of just the thing. So,
Well, and this is where how do we live our values comes into play, whether or not our gods are watching. How you live in this world, how do you live an ethical pagan life? While, and I know that a lot of my leftist friends will trot it out, there is no ethical consumption under capitalism, and that's correct. There is more ethical consumption than not ethical that you can engage in, and it matters on who you patronize, who you work with, what you do, how you live in this world does have an effect. And it's on us to reduce harm to our communities.
Yep.
And Finn's absolutely right. Get to know your local breweries. Yep. And talk with people behind the counter. Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So we just opened our tap room Thursday of last week. So Thursday of this week will be week 2 for having a tap room for Norse Nectar, which oddly enough we called Valhalla. Following a theme. And we had a great time. I mean, it was a good 3 days. It was freaking long for me because you're talking 17-hour days because I work my day job, which is the brewery, and then I work my night job, which is the tasting room at the brewery. But it was fabulous. We were able to connect with a lot of people. And, I got a big push on Facebook, pagan-owned brewery. Now, we're not all pagan, right? Of the 17 people who own the company, 2 of us are pagan. But it was a big push on Facebook. I'm kind of the face of the brewery. I think it has to do with this.
Right.
It was, it was kind of cool to see a bunch of pagan folks come out. Our Thursday night, probably half the people who came out were pagans.
Nice.
Wow. We're limited on space because of COVID. Mm-hmm. We can only hold about 40 people, but Throughout the night, we probably had 40 who were pagan, and then a smattering of other people throughout the night. It was probably half that on Friday and Saturday, so half of our totals. But it was great to see the pagan community come out and support, something that's a little different. I think when you put Valhalla up on the sign where the gods go to drink, people tend to want to come out.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Just a bit.
I had a slew of people show up in full Viking regalia. It was great.
Nice.
That's amazing. That's awesome.
And two of them were like, we missed having Ren Fair this year, so we decided this was our Ren Fair.
Oh,
Fucking
that's cool.
all right. Yeah.
Come every week this way. It's perfectly fine. We enjoy it.
Yep. I do want to say, like, it's important to do what you can, but please nobody beat themselves up about having limited options and stuff. Like,
Right.
I still shop at Walmart. Like, I understand how shitty that is, and I know Walmart's politics and how bad they treat their employees and etc. I am aware. I also don't have that many other options. When I can, I shop local, but I can't always.
Right. And that said, I'm sure that all three of us and everybody who's currently live on the stream all have bought stuff recently from Amazon. And Amazon treats their people like crap. But the fact of the matter is, it's the easiest way to get stuff on a quick, it's just, I hate to say it, but I mean, it kind of happens.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, you do what you can.
Yep.
But there are limits, and that's a consequence of the system. That's not a consequence of moral failing. That's a consequence of the system. It was specifically set up that way. Like, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
We've actually got a fair amount of good comments, but yeah.
Oh, sorry. I was.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Hold on. Let's see.
You're fine.
Carly said, "I'm making a road trip one of these days, pending safety."
Yeah.
So seriously, anybody? Actually, should we talk about this, Malik? Your birthday?
Yeah, go for it. It's not set in stone, but yeah, let's go for it.
It's not set in stone yet, but we're talking about having Malik's birthday at my brewery in Kalamazoo, and we're talking about the potential of having it open for live listeners. So
We'll see, but
we'll see how that goes. But the potential is there that we'll have it at our brewery in Kalamazoo, and anybody who wants to come out can come out and hang out with us as we do this thing, which is a little crazy, but there you go.
Yep.
I mean, you did it on Three Pagans and a Cat.
We did. Yep. Yeah, we did it. We've done it a couple of times. One of which is a lost episode because it didn't frickin' record. So we recorded we actually did a live mead 3-pack episode at Convocation last year, right before COVID. And for whatever reason, it didn't record. So it was live, but then that was it. So that episode number on our podcast, everybody's going to be like, what the fuck happened here? Because it goes from like 116 to 118. And that's the reason why. Anyway.
Car, can you throw Amanda's comment up, please?
That one?
Yes.
As long as it's peace bonded.
Yeah. As long as it's peace bonded. And also, if you can get up here, abso-fucking-lutely, because I know you live a long way away.
Yeah. If you want to come up from Georgia, more power to you. We actually have weapons on the wall. So I have like a double-headed mace and some swords and a bunch of other stuff on the wall, but they're all in shadow boxes. So don't F with them. Anyway.
Oh, that's okay. I'll bring some towards mine.
Finn said, "You have my attention." Yet it would be a long drive.
I mean,
We're at the.
Oh shit! Carly is Rebel Valkyrie.
oh yeah,
Oh!
there we go.
Now we all know who Carly is.
I vaguely remember that from last episode.
So-
Alcohol makes the brain fuzzy.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Speaking of brain fuzzy, we are on an hour 40, guys.
We
Are you really?
Yeah.
Or I know it hasn't felt like it,
No, it really hasn't.
but
These episodes keep getting longer, and I'm not super upset about it, but it was like this time.
So, did I explain this in the last 3-pot episode?
I think so, but do it again.
So Dictinus came about because I mispronounced everybody's name on our podcast, Three Pagans and a Cat. Everybody's. Not on purpose. I just suck at pronunciation, apparently. So Dictinus is a god we somehow came up with to cover our diction in our podcast, and has been spoken into existence. So
Egregores.
hail Dictinus, hail like
Yeah. Before we sign off, I'm gonna talk about egregores for just a second.
Okay.
Okay. So egregores, as far as I'm aware, they might have an older history, but I'm pretty sure they come from chaos magic. Which is, roughly speaking, I'm not an expert. Go to Mother Multiverse for that, because she actually is. Chaos magic is basically a postmodern take on occultism and magic. Egregores are basically thought forms. So there's two kinds of thought forms, at least to my understanding. There's servitors, which are personal thought forms, which are basically spirits that you make, that you think and put enough energy in to create them. And they're for you. And then there's egregores, which are thought forms that are created by multiple people, right? Like not just your energy and thoughts and etc. going into it, but several or many, many people putting thought and energy into this. Which gets really confusing when you think about gods as egregores and that whole thing, but we're not going to get into that because that's anyway.
moving on.
Egregores are 100% a thing according to the shared personal gnosis of many people across much of occultism and the pagan community. So it's very, very likely that Dictinus is now a thing, at least as an egregore, because Three Pagans and a Cat has a fairly broad listening, and
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Scarily so. Yes, but
yeah, people treating them as a god. Well, now they might be, or at least an egregore.
getting flashback to American gods with this discussion.
Yes, but that'll be my rant.
Please do.
American Gods is a great novel. It is not a good guide to the gods.
Yep.
And I get that American Gods are an excellent introduction, but our gods are not reliant on our prayers, and they're not reliant on our blood offerings to keep existing. The problem, and you can see this in pretty stark relief when he brings in I believe it's Kali character, or the Durga character in the book, that Durga points out, I have literally millions of followers in India. Why would I bother signing on with you, you crazy old man? And she's talking to Mr. Wednesday. And spoilers for the book, but the notion that gods need our prayers is a nice piece of intrigue for the novel. It's not a good guide for pagans. The gods don't need your prayers to exist. They don't need your thoughts to exist, and they don't exist just in your head. And folks who get their information from gaming tend to have this notion like we can somehow control the gods, which I'm going to giggle at you and be over here. And when you're done and you need a rune reading on where you went wrong, I'll be over here.
Sign up for the Patreon. We'll do it once a month.
Yeah.
God, that slaps you with the dictionary when you mispronounce something clearly. I mean, fair enough.
And that's
that
not
case-
to say that. Go ahead.
In that case, I've got issues. But go ahead.
And that's not to say that egregores aren't a thing, or that gods cannot arise out of an egregore existence. That's not to say that. I mean, there's gods that used to be humans, like Antinous and the great surgeon and physicist Asclepius. So there are instances where gods come from people, where people become
Right.
gods. So there's nothing to say that an egregore can't become a god. It's that you really need to understand that you don't control a god's existence.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
it's not
Right.
a tame lion, if you'll pardon the C.S. Lewis reference.
Right. Thanks for bringing Christianity into it.
You're welcome.
But and I don't believe Dictinus is a god, if that helps.
Right.
But it is fucking funny.
Yeah.
It is fucking funny.
Right. Yep. So,
You control the god's tactical nuke noises.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So, because we're now almost 2 hours into this, it's probably time to say goodbye.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the Patreon will appear in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Beyond that, you can email us at 3pagansontap@gmail.com.
Yep.
You can find us on Discord. If
We
you
have our own Discord.
feel free to email 3pagansontap@gmail.com and I can connect you to that. We have a Facebook.
Yes, we do.
We do have Facebook. Got a YouTube.
We have a YouTube.
It's all just
So find us at any of those places. We do somewhat pay attention to them. Somewhat, because literally today I was like, holy shit, I haven't looked at the 3 Pagans on Tap Gmail in like a week. So
yeah.
All right, folks, you take care. Drink responsibly.
Please.
Be safe.
Please be safe.
And for those of you who are still here, feel free to jump over to the Discord and we'll have an after podcast, blog, whatever. Chat.
Vodcast works because it's the vodka episode.
Sure. Vodka cast, whatever.